We begin the newspaper reviews this morning from Cameroon. Let's see what's happening on the front page of the Guardian Post. On the front page this morning of the Guardian Post, we can see the big story there that talks of rejection of Canada peace talks. And it says government dampens hopes for return of peace in NWSW. And that's the big story this morning on the front page of the Guardian Post and the Daily Monitor. But there are other sub-stories there. We see there bad seeds within BR regime accused of frustrating efforts to resolve Anglophone crisis and bloodletting in English-speaking regions. Resolving Anglophone crisis when personal interest overrides general good. You know, this crisis has been on for the longest time in the English-speaking regions in Cameroon. I remember one time trying to go to Cameroon, and the report, unfortunately, that I kept getting was, now is maybe not a good time to go because of the crisis happening there. And it's been on for the longest time. And I'm really hoping that, there can be a resolution to this. This editorial talks about resolving the crisis and talking about how personal interest overrides the general good. And we're still on the front page. We have Lake Chad Basin conflicts. Red Cross calls for urgent efforts to protect civilians. And we also have here ENEO budget 65 billion FCFA for investment in 2023. And the final story, MINFI circular and instructions relating to the execution of the finance laws, monitoring and control of execution of the budgets of the state and other public entities for 2023 fiscal year. Of course, there is some reference to Nigeria, seeing the close or the proximity between both countries. We can see here, race to Nigerian presidency. PDP drags Tinubu to court, demands disqualification over alleged criminal conviction. That's all we can take this morning on the Guardian Post in Cameroon.
All right. And now let's move to Namibia and see what the Namibian has for us. It says the big one there, AMTA's 57 million Namibian dollars paid to Chico questioned. 45.9 million paid to Chico for on property without authorization, and 10.5 million Namibian dollars paid to Chico for land without title deed. Seems like questions need to be asked in that regard. Also, Namibia is a beggar, but for a good reason. And that is from the Comas governor telling the EU commissioner the country begs on behalf of others. Defense lawyers attack Fishrot, bail refused. I take that again. Defense lawyers attack Fishrot, bail refusal. Just a few other stories. Kavango West builds reed pit latrines for 14,980 Namibian dollars each. And I think these are the big ones on the Namibian. Just a few stories this morning. You can also see a picture of, it's titled Uncomfortable Lunch. There, of course, with school children on the floor. Those are the big stories on the Namibian this morning.
All right, let's head over to Nigeria and see what's happening on the front page of The Punch. The big story there says, new Naira deadline. Kano, Ondo, Anambra depositors flood banks with old notes. CBN shuns National Assembly, insists on January 31st cash swap deadline. EFCC, ICPC won't arrest huge depositors. Emefiele assures bank customers. That headline reminds me of saying, oh, don't worry, just come in, we won't beat you, it's fine. But I think the part of why this was instituted was so that they can be able to trace cash, reduce the exchange of cash during the elections, and all those huge cash, those millions or billions of cash that be brought into the bank, they would then ask questions. But now Emefiele is saying, don't worry, we won't arrest you. Just bring it into the bank. It's very funny.
Don't be shy.
Murife, don't run. Central Bank officials, POS agents set up rural cash exchange points. We can see photographs of the people here. These residents swapping their old Naira notes with new Naira notes in Gombe and Kano states. Labour knocks governors and states reject local government autonomy. Islamic teacher bags life jail for defiling 8 pupils. Whoa. World Health Organization worries over fresh 170,000 COVID-19 deaths. So for those who think that COVID is not back, it is back. Federal government raises 14-man panel to end fuel scarcity. Do you believe in the ability of this 14-man panel to end the fuel scarcity?
Absolutely not.
All right. Interest rates hike, job losses crisis loom warns OPS. And the final story this morning, traders lament as Okowa shuts markets for Atiku. Now, this, of course, is in Delta State, where the governor of Delta State reportedly has shut down activities. One of the popular markets there is the Ogbogonogo market, and the Ogbogonogo market in Asaba Metropolis was said to have been shut down based on the directive of Governor Ifeanyi Okowa because of the presidential campaign rally of the People's Democratic Party, which was held in the state on Tuesday. So my question is this, Osage. If the state governor shuts down operations in a particular market, which is the biggest market in Asaba, the Ogbogonogo market, and says, sends a directive for them to shut it down because the presidential campaign rally is happening on the same day, what happens to the people who, that is how they feed? The money that they get from their daily activities in that market is how they will feed their families. That's how they pay for their children's school fees. Will they be refunded for 1 day of loss? Because now they've been forced to incur a day of loss.
Exactly.
Because,
well, I think it's really just, signs of desperation and disrespect for the citizens. It's disrespect, on citizens, and unfortunately we don't have enough laws that protect citizens here and protect, the common Nigerian. Because the reason they shut down markets and shut down schools is because they're trying to convince people from those markets, traders and everyone, to come out, and be a part of their rally and part of their, part of their rally, so they can have numbers. They don't want to do a campaign rally that doesn't have people present, and so they shut down the market. It happened here in Lagos also, where they shut down the market and asked people to, be at the stadium or wherever it is. So no, there's no compensation, and it also tells you that these state governors and these, levels of government aren't confident enough that the people care about whatever campaign that they're doing. They're not confident enough that they will have a crowd of followers and supporters, an organic crowd that would come out in support of them. And so they have to find a way to cajole and to force people to be there. And it's also a report card, basically, on their performance.
They're asking them to shut down because they know that they're going to be crowds, so they're trying to do traffic control. But my desire to feed,
but that has nothing to do with
the
market.
Should not be exactly. I'm trying to feed my family. I don't know that.
Has absolutely nothing to do with the market.
Well, traders have complained. They've spoken with the correspondents of the Punch newspaper, which is why it's being reported in the Punch. But that's all we can take this morning on the Punch. Let's head to Daily Trust Nigeria.
All right. On the Daily Trust, still here in Nigeria this morning, and of course, more on the petrol scarcity. It says President Buhari chairs 14-man committee as fuel scarcity worsens. Good morning to President Buhari and the 14-man committee, because this has been going on since October 2022.
The answer to that good morning is anytime, an African proverb that says whenever you wake up is your morning.
And so I've seen this comment a few times. At some point you're going to have to agree that it is the first time, I think, in Nigeria's history that you're seeing that in the build-up to the elections, the current administration or the government in power has made no move whatsoever to ease the life of the citizens. Because normally you start to see these fake moves. Oh, we're going to, increase minimum wage here. Oh, increase teacher salary. Even in 2014, I remember that they reduced pump price of petrol by about 10 naira, I think, just before the elections in 2014. The Goodluck Jonathan administration reduced it. So you see these things happening, but in today's Nigeria, the current administration, in its continuous, behavior of not caring or showing that it cares how the people feel, have made no moves to ease the life, and the livelihood of the citizens in the build-up to the elections. They simply just do as they like. And so, since October 2022 till January 2023, Nigeria has been in some level of fuel scarcity or the other, and now they send up a 14-man committee. We still, of course, just a few riders. Buhari Senatorial District, Kaita Dauda set for epic battle, and I think I'll just throw in the final one this morning. CBN debunks 89 trillion naira stamp duty claim, says 370 billion naira collected by banks. And the final story, woman quits marriage as she marries her daughter's boyfriend in Kano.
What?
Yes. Great way to start the year, and anyway.
You hear some of the stories and you just think, no, this thing is just social media bans and Nollywood movie.
Apparently not. All right, stay with us this morning. Those are the major stories making headlines across the continent. Very interesting ones here in Nigeria. We'll take a short break, and when we come back, we're getting straight into our top stories